Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bad Movie Night. My name's Chris, and tonight I checked out the new horror movie called The Bloodhound. It is the directorial debut of one Patrick Picard, and it is loosely based on the Edgar Allan Poe story, The Fall of the House of USHER. It's about this young guy named Francis who comes to visit his childhood friend JP, who lives in this very isolated 60s looking house. In this house he lives with his sister Vivian, and when Francis arrives there, it's clear things are not normal. JP acts a little weird, Vivian's kind of isolating herself in her bedroom, and then some stuff happens. I will say this is a really confident movie for a feature debut. It is consistent for what they're going for. It is quirky and weird, and I think what they're going for is a creepiness that this doesn't really land for me, but I'll get into some of that. But the performances are consistent for this style. The look is consistent. I did watch the trailer before doing this review because I want to make sure what they were trying to market, and they are certainly pushing for a horror movie angle, and this doesn't really come off as horror to me very much. There's also a review within the trailer that says something along the lines of like an intellectual debut, and yes, this feels very highbrow, like scholarly. I don't know how to say it because I'm stupid. And this movie is going for like every scene to have some sort of symbolism or be a metaphor for something else. And we can get to some of the themes that I was able to pick out through this movie, but overall, it doesn't make much sense to me, and I could certainly be misunderstanding what's going on here. But when you introduce these characters, Francis, I think he's supposed to be like a window into this very weird world, because JP and this house and everything that is said in this movie is not normal. It's quirky and weird and off-putting, unnatural, I guess is how I would say. But Francis himself, who's supposed to be kind of this window into this world, he's not very normal either. He definitely speaks in a very specific way that doesn't feel natural. And so I never really got invested into this world. And so when any of these creepy moments, I think what they're going for is creepiness, it just doesn't really work for me because everything is just so weird and quirky. I gotta keep saying weird and quirky because I don't know how else to describe it. But you know what kind of did work for me is when the characters react to things. There's like a moment with a pizza guy, and JP reacts in a way where he's so serious and dry, but it came off as funny. Like, this movie could have been funnier than anything else if they would have pushed it a little bit more for the humor side of things, because then it would come off maybe like a Wes Anderson type thing or something like that, where the characters, again, don't speak like normal people speak, but they speak very unnaturally, but in a consistent way, so it feels like it's in character. I guess my problem with it was when the movie started and they introduced JP and he's weird, I was waiting for the moment for the coherent nature to reveal itself, where something would start to feel like reality. And it never happens. It's just that, I guess it's just that like everything in this movie is just kind of off-putting. The setting, like I said, it feels like a 60s, and they dress like they're of that time, but it's supposed to be modern day. The way they speak, the activities they do, they're watching like old pornos on TV, like an old TV. They have an opera singer come to the house. It's just things that like feel out of time and out of place. So the whole like avant-champ, that's not a word, I don't know why I said that, I was trying to be smart. But it, you know, that weirdness, and it does add to a specific mood that is consistent. So I do feel like the director was able to pull his entire vision into this movie and execute it on a way that was very well done, if you like that kind of thing. And I just really didn't. And I can't foresee like a mainstream audience liking this in any way. And you can critique and say, well, you might not like this movie because you don't like ambiguous movies. But take the ambiguity out of the storyline, there's still not much happens. So if you like stories that are all about symbolism and metaphor and nothing on its surface makes much sense, then yes, this would appeal to you. I am not. I do like more pretentious movies a lot of times that don't force feed narrative or don't necessarily explain everything. I can get behind that. But to me, this movie was just pretty incoherent. The movie, like I said, is based on The Fall of House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe, and it does share some similar aspects to it though. The setup is very similar, and I know that story as well is meant to be picked apart line by line for symbolism and metaphor for a deeper exploration of its themes. So let's talk about some of the themes in this movie. There's obviously like a rumination on isolation and mental health, and because JP is so wealthy, by the end you kind of get an overall sense of like money not being able to just buy the happiness he's looking for. He's always been looking for a friend, and then, yeah, I'm not going to spoil the very end, but it does come around again by the end. And I guess the way the Bloodhound comes in is like a thematic element of just this Bloodhound kind of rooting through this family and its secrets, because you do get some backstory, light backstory, about this whole kind of family, JP and Vivian's family, and how they all kind of descended and died and all kind of suffered from certain things, alcoholism, etc., etc. Overall, not a fan. I think in general, like, yeah, the production quality is good, the camera work is good, the acting is good for these characters, the music is okay. I just really didn't enjoy it, and on its surface, it's just kind of a dull movie that's boring and weird, and I get that there's deeper elements to the story that they want you to pick out, but I just didn't care enough to bother to do that. And it was pretty incoherent to me on its surface that it would just take multiple viewings to probably pick up on all the little symbolism, and that can be commended. Like, I like picking up on little things on second and third viewings that enrich the story, but when you have to pick up on every little moment like that for the story to even make sense, it didn't really work. Not enough other things to latch onto to get me through to the end and to have an enjoyable experience, I guess. So, The Bloodhound, it's out now. I'm sure some people will like this, and if you did, that's great, and you can leave your thoughtful comments below. Again, I'm not the smartest guy to pick up on all those little things, so I'm sure I missed a bunch of stuff in this movie. But that's going to do it for The Bloodhound. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you here next time. Goodbye.